Well, good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to a much awaited live episode of Jacob's Ladder. I'm your host with the most, Jacob Israel, and I'm happy that you're here. Today is my, wasn't planning on doing this, had to flip some coins. We got so much going on with the Vatican. We have so much going on with President Trump. President Trump posting out something that looked all sorts of strange. A lot of people saying, oh my goodness, he's portraying himself as Jesus the Christ. And yet he looks very much like the magician card, which is a tarot card, which was featured on the World 2017 The Economist magazine cover. The magician. Around this time, my channel took off because of one little subject. It's called Planet X, Nibiru. This is one of these shows that you better be buckled up for. I'm going to take you down some crazy rabbit holes, share some breadcrumbs and some coinky-dinky doos that only the Lord could provide. We're in the thick of it. And over the next couple of years, we're going to be seeing some kook-a-doo things, I'm telling you. But I got to tell you something. I really feel like God has placed me and placed you exactly where we need to be. Look at this thumbnail. There was something strange. I don't know if you know, but there is a big fervor over the fact that Donald J. Trump put out a little post on Truth Social. It was a repost. Somebody else put it out before him. And the odd thing about the fact that he reposted this image, which he later went on to say, I thought it was a doctor. I thought I was a doctor with superpowers in my hands. A lot of people saying that the person that he's bringing back is John F. Kennedy. Listen, let me tell you something. Besides all of the propaganda, besides all of the distraction, let me tell you something. You are in for a show. Because I am feeling that this is very much on par. And I have a letter that I wrote, that I publicly posted to Pope Leo, who I prayed and said, I hope that he is the good Pope. I wanted him to be the good Pope. But it seems that there is another thing going on. Seems like Pope Leo and the fact that he is American does not matter to him, because he has said that he is from Rome. I said a new Rome was coming, and the new Rome is here. If you remember correctly, Rome was the one that put Christ to death to begin with. This is a very interesting show you have pressed play on. You're going to have to buckle up. You're going to have to get that popcorn. You're going to have to get ready, because I'm excited to share. Because there's a little weird thing that happened when he shared that post. He put at the top of the post, you'll see where the arrow is pointing to something that looks like some kind of a demonic creature. And above that is a title. It says, The Last Pull. The Last Pull. You know, it's weird because when he reposted the video, there was no change except for the thing that was on the top. And it looked just like that. And then out of the blue, some account on X that I'd never heard of, ironically called Humanity Wipe, said, oh, I remembered this book cover. I saw it on Reddit. And then decided to share it. So I looked a little bit deeper into this thing, and I'm telling you something. The plot of the story is thick. The plot of the story is what's happening right now. The plot of the story is we may be in the thick of it. And it may be disclosure of something else. Now, once again, I tell everybody, I'm just a speculator. And I'm not telling you that anything's going to happen in the future, but I know what I know that I know. And I'm not too concerned about the fact that there's going to be something coming in the near future that is going to shock and wake us all up. And the question is, are you ready? That's going to be the thing. So listen, we're going to start this show off. We're going to start it off little by little. I'm going to take you and I'm going to read to you the letter that I wrote to the Pope. Okay? Maybe I should, you know what? Maybe I should read it to you looking at you so that it doesn't look as boring as it does on my screen. So I posted this yesterday. I said, Pope Leo, dear Pope Leo, I said 5 weeks ago I posted a video of St. Catherine riding a red horse with fireworks exploding behind a brick fortress. Let me show this to you. I believe God was telling me something. I said, look again at St. Catherine's story. You probably remember, everybody, that just recently, well, last year, my grandfather, he passed away, and I got this ring, this onyx golden ring that was given to me at the St. Catherine of Siena Church. Just so happens that that was my grandfather and my grandmother, my nanny. I grew up very poor. We lived with my nanny and my pop for like 6 years, and our backyard was a low-income housing in Connecticut. You can look it up. It's called Adam's Garden. I spent the first 6 years of my life, the backyard, just on the border of Adam's Garden. Like I was kicked out, but I couldn't get in. Find it interesting. But my pop and my nanny were everything to me, and they were very Catholic. My grandfather and my grandmother, when I was sick with my Crohn's disease, had everybody praying. It was a big church. It was a beautiful church. And when he passed away, I was invited to come and I was invited to speak, and I spoke. And I shared something from the book of Isaiah, where it talks about how every tear will be wiped away. I felt like it was an important moment, but it wasn't until recently that I realized how very important it was. I didn't know who St. Catherine was. I didn't know who St. Catherine of Siena was. I didn't know why the story was so significant. Turns out, St. Catherine of Siena, she didn't want to be part of the church. She didn't want to be a priest. She didn't want to be a nun. She was a mystic. She was a weirdo. People thought she was strange. She said she had stigmata. People were like, okay, whatever. She had a mystical marriage where she dedicated her life to God, and she was given a mystical wedding ring, a golden ring. Now, they celebrate something called the Feast of St. Catherine, and that is on September 29th. It is one day after my grandfather's funeral. So my grandfather, whose patron church, he was a Catholic, was he was put to death. He was put to rest, I should say, the day before the feast, and I was given this ring. And in that church, I spoke this. So now, why is this strange? Well, I became fascinated with the story because I believe that everything that happens in life has a reason. St. Catherine was important because she did something that nobody could do at the time. At the time, France was incredibly powerful, and France had basically captured the Catholic Church. Europe was very much in charge of what the Catholic Church says. I believe it was like 7 popes or something was under the control of Avignon, France. Now this is strange because St. Catherine, this nobody, she'd be like a wacky-do influencer on YouTube right now. People will be making fun of her. She pestered the Pope. She wrote letters to the Pope. She did everything she could to the Pope to get the Pope to wake up and realize what God was doing. Leave the political influence of France. St. Catherine, this poor, illiterate writer who was known for her amazing, remarkable works, wasn't schooled. This mystic who took the suffering of cross. Now listen, I am not a Catholic. I was confirmed and baptized, and I lived the life of a Catholic, but I am not a Catholic. I left the Catholic Church a long time ago, right? Jesus told us to flee Babylon. But this story of St. Catherine's is it's not like something that everybody knows. Not everybody understands the story. Not everybody understands what Avignon was about. So I found it strange that exactly 55 weeks later, that's why I wanted to do the show at 1:55. Sorry if I was a little bit late. 55 weeks later, what ends up happening from my video is the Pentagon and the news and the Vatican is talking about Avignon, France, where the Pope was under the influence of France. But at home, back in Rome, There was a war. It was called the War of the Eight Saints. It's called the Eight Saints War. It's a big war. St. Catherine was like, what are you doing siding with France? What are you doing listening to France? We got a war going on in your home. And you're over there chilling with the French, eating your French fries. I believe that's a historical quote from St. Catherine herself. War going on at home. She's like, get your act together, Pope. And you got to come back to Rome. And she does. She brings it back to Rome. She brings the Pope back to Rome. She changes the game. This is why it's crazy. So, when they mentioned Avignon, now that's a quinky-dinky-doo. Okay, that's a quinky-dinky-doo. Let me show you this stuff. When they mentioned it, I said, oh my goodness, I got to look at this again. Because here, let me be honest with you. War, I don't believe in war. I don't believe in fighting. I don't believe in killing. I've told you from day one, let me tell you something. This world is going to get the ruler that it deserves. I've compared President Donald Trump to King Cyrus, to Nebuchadnezzar, and to many. They were not the nicest, most Christian and most holy that the Pope Leo would, consider to be so prim and proper. Right now, Pope Leo has been taking jabs at President Donald Trump. And Pope Leo and the Vatican and the Catholic Church, which, by the way, believes in lies. There is no such thing as endless torture. God has got you. No matter where you are in life, it's going to work out. You're going to figure it out at one point in time or other. You got an endless amount of time to get you to where you need to be. You don't think that the potter has power over the clay to decide what kind of vessel it makes? Pope Leo, I had so much hope. I had so much. Knew it was going to be like the American Pope. I said, please let it be like the American Pope. And now all of a sudden they're at odds. So I say to myself, there must be something more going on. And it turns out there is. Let me just start off with the letter. Let me read this to you. On September 28th, 2025, the night before St. Catherine's feast day, I received my grandfather's golden onyx ring, which I showed you, inside St. Catherine of Siena Church. Now, you just met with Macron, both of you opposing Operation Epic Fury against one of the most wicked regimes on earth. Let's be honest, people. Iran, nobody likes Iran. Okay? They're not a great place. This feels like Avignon all over again. Perhaps, let me go back. Let me go back over here. Remember Avignon, which means to the vineyard? Remember how the Pope listened to a peculiar, mystic, recluse, poor influencer named St. Catherine? Happens to be my grandfather's church. You're the first American Pope, exactly as I predicted and prayed for. Miraculous proof of this and more, and the timing of which are in the repost below. So I'm trying to show them, look, I know I'm a nobody. I know I'm a weirdo. I know I maybe walk around barefooted outside like St. Catherine did, but I got some connection to share. God never uses peaceful, sweet-talking rulers to reset a corrupt rule. Sometimes it takes a heavy hand. There is a time for war, and there's a time to speak out against the monstrous regime. Please step out of European diplomacy and see the bigger picture and support what is going on. Respectfully, Jacob Israel. God bless President Trump. In your will, this is my prayer, and I pray this letter is what God actually wants, because I don't know. Avignon, he's meeting with France. There's a war going on at the house. Now, what you're looking at right there, by the way, okay, that's St. Catherine of Siena feast day. That is the video that I created on not June. I don't know why I said June. That's my birthday. I must be excited about my birthday. On March 5th, 2026. Now, this was exactly 5 weeks later. Elon shares this. He shared this. Okay, so I have my video of St. Catherine feast because I explained about the onyx ring. Today I learned that, he was late. I learned about the onyx ring. It was like God said, you know what? You didn't marry the church system like Catherine. I'm marrying you. I'm giving you a ring. And And I felt it. You know what? I got to tell you something. I believe it. I believe God said, you know what? We are in a mystical marriage just like St. Catherine. And I hope you feel it too. Don't let people shoot you out of what God has planned for you. So I put out this video, this AI video, just explaining St. Catherine, because I was blown away that he was put to death and then ends up being put to rest at St. Catherine's Church of Siena the day before her feast day. And she's known for being given a golden ring, a wedding ring, a signet ring, which is what I was given. And as she wrote letters to the Pope, here I'm writing something to the Pope. That's, to me, it's strange. And why did I do this? Do I know for sure that this is what I'm supposed to do? Because I don't think it's right to have war. I don't think it's right to kill. I got to look at the signs. I got to look at the things, and I got to put it together. This is what Elon shared 5 weeks later. Shut up. Look at this. Look at this. It's the same video, except for the guy riding this one has a fork and a spoon and he's cross-eyed, like a goofball. Elon posts this exactly 5 weeks after I post that. He posts this after I post that. And then what? 5 weeks later, we're talking about Avignon. That to me is very strange. Tell me in a live chat if I'm crazy. That to me is very strange. 5 weeks after I do a whole spiel about Avignon, France, and how this mystic, this nobody, writes a letter to the Pope saying, grow up, get over yourself, and understand that God sometimes uses a heavy hand. I don't want to see war, but I also know that God's in charge of everything. Everything. And I know a corrupt nation gets what it gets, and a righteous nation gets what it gets. And I feel like if you're doing right in this world, you're going to be okay. I really do. I feel like there's something coming, and it has to do with meteors. It's what my channel took off with. My video that I had, that dream that I had, where meteors after. Guess what? President Trump shares an image of him healing, looking like the magician, right? With a weird reference to a book that's not even written, that's on Reddit, that some random account puts out, and somehow all of us get to see it. Now we're talking about it, called The Last Call, with dates and times of meteor strikes. And this is 24 hours after I shared a video that I created about Zerubbabel and meteor strikes. This is going to be a very cool show, and you know what? I hope that you're sitting and you're in it and you're ready to go, because it's going to get weird. It's going to get weird, and I hope that you share it around. You know, I had this. I was like, I prayed about this because I don't know how many people are going to really, like, I feel like this is so significant. I feel like it's so significant. I feel like you, me, and all of us, little people, St. Catherine was a little person. Look at this ring. You know what the onyx stone is? What was given? You know what it is? Just a little quinky-dinky-doo. The onyx stone is the 11th stone. It's Joseph. The high priests wear it on their heart. Onyx, because it's black. It sucks up all the light, you know? Give me all the light. All right, so this is where it's going to get strange, okay? So the fact that Elon shares this exactly, I mean, that alone, come on, man. The dude's, maybe he's watching me. I think that this was God saying, look, because he knows that I watch everybody. God saying, I want you to look at St. Catherine's story again, and I did. And the result was me writing this letter where I'm like, get your stuff together, Pope. You know, now here's crazy, right? And then I use this as proof. Okay. You probably don't remember this. You probably don't. Let me open this up. Okay. Because I prayed for this to happen. This is the HBO show. It was one of my favorite shows. First Pope, American Pope, Leo the Lion, Chicago. First Pope, Lenny the Lion, New York City. Okay, I put out a post where I literally prayed. I said, oh, let it be like the American Pope. And that's what he is. Okay. And so what does this mean? Okay. Listen to this. And this show is, I'm telling you, look, This is going to be exciting, so you better be buckled up. I got Prophet Bear, member for 20 months, is buckled up. I hope you are too. You can become a channel member too. Take a listen.
I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white, clean. And out of his mouth goeth the sharp,
either in their pocket, on the wrist, or around their neck. How beautiful it is to look at Jesus through the eyes of Mary's heart.
It's like God is kind of showing us there's more. Showing us that maybe miracles are real. Showing us that maybe if we just had faith the size of a mustard seed, we could say to this corrupt, terrible world, get going. And next thing you know, you're going to hear about all these people. They're going to be gone. And the Vatican as a whole is concerned about how people are going to handle and classify miracles. I want to see a world where things are better. And I'm asking God, I'm like, will you do me a favor? Will you show the world? If they be corrupt, will you get rid of them? I mean, that's kind of, right? 50 weeks after the video, and then we got good Pope. I was hoping for good Pope. And what do we get? Do we got the good Pope? I don't know. That's the thing. You know, I was in literally praying. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Lord, you know, the scriptures say, you know, if it were possible for the elect to be deceived. If you're elected, if it were possible, you could be deceived. It's not possible. I'm pretty sure I'm elected. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, it's because the Lord won't let me see it. Because guess what? God can harden your heart too. It's a problem. It's a problem. So there you have it. 333 days, 333, from when I do that video talking about the Pope, saying if you're not righteous, you're going to be gone. And then boom, he dies. Exactly 50 weeks later, when Pope Leo, come on, American Pope, same thing. 50 weeks, boom. I put on my St. Catherine thing. Then out of the blue, there's some random guy just happens to write, you know, some thing and create some AI that's literally identical with a goofball, with his cross-eyed, with a fork and a spoon. I was like, is Elon mocking me? Does he think I'm a goofball? Could be wrong. I don't know. I think to myself that this, my friends, is probably, there's more to it. There's more to the story. Now, President Trump is not happy with the American Pope, and I'm just gonna play this so you can just, because this is all gonna build up and it's gonna freaking blow your mind. So you better not turn off the channel. You better smash the like by now. I got barely anybody liking. Get to work. Come on, let's do it.
Why did you attack Pope Leo on Truth Social?
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear. What about the fear when the ministers and the priests and all of those great people that were arrested during COVID And in many cases, they're outside 10 feet apart, and they were arrested. So we don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not.
Come on now. They're not happy, the two of them. Let's go back and just take a quick look at that thumbnail again. Let's just take a look. Bada boom. It's just weird, right? Almost like a year before this issue happens, he put out an NFT to the left-hand corner that looks just like him as the Pope. He said very clearly, he goes, look, I see it as a doctor. I see it as a doctor. I don't see it the way you see it. He was talking about the Red Cross and everything else. I put out a little bit of a post. It was pretty funny. I was like, Jesus called himself a doctor too. He did. He goes, I'm not here for the sick. I'm not here for the healthy. I'm here for the sick. I'm here for the sick. That's what, like, when I left Christian TV, I was like, I wasn't looking for the churchy people. I was looking for the people that never even considered God. You don't got to do this or do that or be involved in this church or that church. Listen, I think all of them are messed up. It's the way I feel. I could be wrong. You got to judge a tree by its fruit. And I hope that my fruit has kind of proven over the years that, we got a lot going on. 13 people a day have been, and that are considered Christians, have been put to death within the last year. That was according to a bigger report. Now, this year, according to Christian Today, it's 1,400.
Leo will spend.
Now, this
July.
is the 60 Minutes episode where the Cardinals came on and they were really they're like really coming against President Donald Trump and everything else. And the irony is that right now their organization is in massive trouble with fraud and everything else. The timing about all this is crazy to me. But we'll leave it at that. So basically, President Donald Trump, he puts this little post out, okay? And this is what everybody's going nuts about because they think that this, of course, equates to Jesus. But this guy right here is strange. Like, who is that? And ironically, in the original post, it didn't have it. Okay, so this is what that was. Okay, and you'll see over here to the right, you'll see humanity. Okay, it says forced. This is humanity wipe. Forced wipe, humanity wipe, like a reset. And look at the time that they put it up. Whoever they are. 111. Freaking Matrix, man. Right? And God sends his spirit into the likeness of sinful flesh. Sends them into the Matrix, like Neo, to wake us up. It's the last pull. This is the name of a book. This guy, because everybody was wondering, like, what is this right here? What is this right here? Because in the original, which was really about how the land is sick and that President Trump is, God's using President Trump to heal it. They replaced the soldier that was there with this. That was purposely done. And that to me is what's kind of crazy. Because if it's purposely done, well, why? I think to myself, why would they go to the trouble to change a very small part of that frame with an obscure book that nobody's heard of, that's not even written, that just exists in Reddit and just happens to be revealed at 111? President Trump is posting it. drawing your attention to it because it knows that it'll get the whole world looking at this post. Look at President Trump's equating himself to, and then all of a sudden people will figure out where the original post was from because that drops as well. And then you realize, oh my God, they edited it. Why did they edit it? But nobody questioned what the book was about. I did. Shook me to the core. Did. It's connected to everything that I've been talking about on this channel since I came on this channel. This is going to blow your mind. Listen, I hope that you have already hit the like button by now. And if you haven't, you should. So, this is basically like cover art for a book. Like this character right here is, and this is the character that's walking and you see meteors in the background. It's about a final battle that takes place, guess when? 2027 to 2030. Right around the corner. The last pull. Oh, so like even readers added context to it. With claim synopsis to cover art, major database like no prior Reddit has been found. Okay, so that's interesting. So God Rules posted this out, and I said, there's a very cool twist in the story. But it gets more interesting because I'm like, I can't let that go. I mean, you look at that cover, and you're like, man, my goodness, that is a lot like the Zerubbabel video that I just posted. It's going to freak you out. Freak me out. So this is part of it. So this is like a chapter right here. The road lengthens, and it just talks about this guy who's coming against, prophets of Baal, and then there's this. And you can probably take a look at it. It says early in 2027 in rural Kazakhstan, there's a minor incident, 12 dead, barely news. But what are we talking about? Meteor scale. Meteors! Mid-2027, northern Iran, minor, few hundred dead. Late 2027, Central Asia, moderate, significant damage. Early 2028, moderate, tsunami warning. These are meteor strikes. What the hell is going on? Late 2028, early 2029, Mediterranean Sea, regional disaster. Mid 2029, North Africa. It's like it's telling you, or is it? Strikes 1 through 4 are individually deniable. San Francisco is the inflection point. After it, no one can pretend the pattern is coincidence. God's nudges protected Joseph are always framed as possible coinkydinky-doo. Joseph never accepts them as divine. The text never confirms they are. Then the next part, the awakening, the machine and the pull. Do you not see how crazy this is? Is it just me? Do I have like main character syndrome or something? Because that sounds like me. That sounds like a lot of you. It's almost like all of this stuff is happening for a reason. My whole channel took off because of what? Meteors. Planet X, Planet 9, Nibiru. Am I not in some kind of a crazy little battle spiritually with the forces of Baal, if you will? How many people believe in the Jesus Barabbases of the world? Look at what's happening. Look at all the Christians that are attacking the God-appointed president of the United States. I'm not saying he's, all puppy dogs and ponytails. I don't know. Is that like a thing? I'm not saying he's so sweet and so awesome. I sold his daughter a pillow. There's got to be a reason. When I was young, Jacob with the pillow, I've seen the man. I've been in presence of the man. I predicted the man. Told everybody he was going to lose against Biden. We'd be biding our time, but he's going to come back like a king. And here I am, right? I said he was the man of peace, man of peace, man of peace. And what did I do? Everybody was like, oh, no. He's going to go to war with Iran. So what did I do? I did a whole show. I said, you know what? You're bored of peace. Did a whole show. Bored of peace. Remember that? I said, all right, you'll get what you want. I said, for a short time. And now guess what? We got peace again. We got a ceasefire again. We got tankers being loaded up in the United States. All of a sudden, we're energy efficient People are coming to us. We don't got to rely on a regime that murders people for not dressing properly, that has morality police. President Trump and the administration, everybody thinks that he hates the gays, right? Do you know what they just did? They're allowing the rainbow flag back to where it was because of Cyrus, back in the day, he respected all religions. President Trump, praise Allah. Cyrus didn't really care. He just wanted you all to do, because God appointed him. I appoint and I call Cyrus. President Trump is Cyrus. And he's here. And we got the Pope. Making a big to-do. Oh, I'm so great. Blah, blah, blah. How would he know? He believes in endless torture. He is the head of a church that has 1.4 billion people thinking that a God of love would torture you endlessly unless you go to a priest and you call them Father, which the Bible strictly says not to do. And unless you're part of their church, look at what's going on in the land. Oh, God doesn't have anything to do with war. Give me a break. Give me a break. Right now, we have a ceasefire. And I'm praying it sticks. But it's going to get a little weirder because I have a lot more coincidence to share. And you know what? I don't really care too much. You know, if you're not too, you're like, oh, Jacob, whatever. I don't care. It's the last pull. Baal worships in the land. Look at this. No one can pretend the pattern is coincidence. At this point, if you've been watching, you can't say that everything that I've been sharing is coincidence. God nudges, protecting Joseph, always framed as possible coincidence within the narrative. Joseph never accepts them as divine. I accept them as divine. Let me go on record. Let me go on record and say I always have accepted all of the inspiration and the speculation as divine. Always. I got the t-shirt. I am a witness. Are you? Christ said we're supposed to be witnesses. You don't think the witnesses in the end come and spit fire? You don't got to be huge. You could be like St. Catherine of Siena, nobody. Getting a mystic marriage. Getting a golden ring. All right, let's take this a little bit further. So, meteor strikes, right? It just happens to be the thing that, set my channel up. But here we go. This is the world in 2017. This is the card, right? Now look at that. Don't they look like they're dressed quite a bit alike? Do they look alike? They look alike to me. I think they look alike. I feel like they look alike. I could be wrong, but, a lot of people have said that magic is a thing. I have been one of them. I believe I probably was one of the very first influencers on X to let you know that MAGA means witch, magician, sorcerer, wizard. I was the first to connect MAGA with Magi that I'm aware of, because the Magi were the ones that did what? They were the ones that found Christ and lavished Christ with gifts. The MAGA, the Magi, Simon Magus. This is a world where you have wizards doing battle. Remember Dark MAGA? You had the white wizard, you had the black wizard, you had the dark wizard and the white wizard. Elon Musk and Donald Trump meeting. I did a whole show about this. They met Butler, Pennsylvania, after he was shot in his ear, the upper part of his right ear, 7 days before I was blasted in the upper part of my right ear, and I have nonstop tinnitus now. 7 days later, the Culper spy ring at 111, hit by a patriot, cheap patriot. Yeah, God's not in charge of I know God's in charge of my life. I call him coincidence, but I know that God's in charge of my life. I know God's in charge of everything. I know when I share these things. I know. But you know what? You take it for what it's worth. You go to God with these things. This is the day that we're in. I talked about this Economist magazine cover many, many times, and for good reason. You take a look at it and you see right there, you see the Magician. That's the last card in that series. Okay, there's another card right next to it that has to do with, guess what? Meteors. Meteors. Yeah, it's called the Star card. Do you know what the what card President Donald Trump's card is? It's the Magician card. Number 1. It's the number 1 card. The only card that is, we'll say, greater than that, I wouldn't say greater. It's not greater. The only card that comes before that is the Fool, which is 0, because he's a big, fat 0. So that's some strange. So that's what you're looking at, by the way. That's what you're looking at. Here, let me come back to you. Let me explain the story of the Wizard of Oz, okay? This is going to blow your mind. The Wizard of Oz, at first, everybody was petrified of. He was big. He was scary. Even I, in the beginning, was like, I don't know. I hope he's not going to be a monster. He's going to be a dictator. I was worried. Took me years of praying, Lord, show me, that I started to really warm up to the idea of understanding that, maybe I don't need to be eating in that tree of knowledge of good and evil and think that I know it all. Maybe I just need to trust God and what God is doing. And then I started to see, I'm like, my God, the wizard. He was terrifying. But he was just the guy that was trying to keep the peace. And in the end, what did he end up doing? He got Dorothy home. He got the Scarecrow a brain. Scarecrow was on a cross, by the way. Uh-huh. He got the lion. He gave it some courage. Pope Leo means lion. Pope Leo needs to get away, according to my letter. If it is God-inspired or not, I don't know. I'm going with, I think Pope Leo needs to get away from all of the nonsense. Right now, there's a ceasefire deal. Stop rubbing salt in the eyes of the United States of America. God placed you on the seat, the Holy See. I had a bad dream about the Pope, by the way. I shared it. I'm not even going to bring it up. Not even going to bring it up. American Pope, and he's not going to be here for the 250th. He says, I am now Rome. I'm from Rome. Ha ha! Rome. Rome crucified Christ. But let's move on. Let's move on and let's take a look at this. All right? Because it's going to get very, very strange. Magi, MAGA, Magician card, the Wizard. You know who else the Wizard takes care of? The Tin Man. Gives the Tin Man a heart. Elon Musk, with all his technology, like the robot that, the Optimus bot. If you haven't noticed that this guy, since the beginning, seems like his heart is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. He seems like he's trying to do the right thing, and this guy's got more money than anybody on the planet. Gives the lion courage, the Tin Man the heart, the Scarecrow the brain, and he gets Dorothy home. Could this all be happening? Could he be a time traveler? He probably is. Who knows? We're in the world right now, people, of we're in an uncharted territory, as they say. So here are the cards. Now, I'm not into the tarot. I had to look it up. The Magician card is the number 1 card. The Fool is 0. I asked Grok, I said, what tarot cards are the Magician and Fool? Is it better to be number 1 or better to be 0, And what ends up happening is he said, you know what? The Magician card, the number 1, is the Master of Manifestation. Now, that's me from an AI video that I did where I was, look, I was getting bored. I sell mattresses 50 hours a week. And while I'm there, because we only have a couple people coming in, and there's only so many times I can clean and check my orders and do trainings, I create videos and I edit and I do all sorts of stuff. That was from a video about Zerubbabel, an ancient book that's a secret book that I didn't know about until just recently, that we're about to dig into, okay? But before we dig into it, he said, look, I'm the doctor. And it's funny because I think to myself, I'm like, Doctor Who was a doctor and he was a time traveler too.
Did you post that picture of yourself?
But here's what he said, okay? So listen, he's saying very clearly, and it just so happens is 44-second clip because, in the Matrix, all this stuff has to happen. Let me just play this for you. And you can hear it from his lips. He didn't think it was Jesus.
Did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was.
I mean, really, I didn't think it was Jesus either. I thought he was like, I honestly thought, I'm like, oh, he's a wizard. I've made him in thumbnails where he looks like that.
Did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and it had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better. As an example, the 11,000, I understand your husband's going through treatment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you notice that he said 9/11 there? Listen.
Husband's going through treatment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's going through some very serious cancer treatment, so
yes,
this goes a long way.
Yes, sir. It sure does.
Strange, right? Strange. So here we have the image of the original artist. I got rid of the people that put this out. Now, of course, everybody jumped on the whole, including Alex Jones. And I love the fact that President Donald Trump is going off on Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and all of these people that are connected to the CIA. Alex Jones had his family, had many meetings with the CIA. Tucker Carlson's dad was the head of like the propaganda arm of, I mean, it's crazy to me. Candace Owens, all these people. I love it. I freaking love it because the sorcerers will fall. I told you they snuck in with the camp, just like Jonathan John Brace. So whoever this is, because I blurred it out, turns out the original photo was posted by Nick Adams. But someone in Trump's camp decided it would be better to alter it and add a demon. You see what I mean? It was done on purpose. It was done on purpose. That's the original. That's the original. And it just so happens that the one that was, by the way, let me make sure that this is not playing because I don't want to get hit. On May 10th, 2024, I did a video with Jesus Christ Superstar, and Judas was singing the song. I said, Trump's latest campaign ad remix, Jesus Christ Superstar edition. And here we go. And it was funny because I'll tell you, look, take a look at this. Let me see if it allows me. Give me a second. Invisidon, who is a great site, he wrote, I don't like it at all. And I said, and I wrote him back, I said, test complete. Because look what I wrote. I wrote, I know it isn't lost on everyone, thankfully, hiding there right beneath the surface / Judas, the Pope. I said a story. Oh, God, I hate when I do this. I said a story is about to unfold. Test. Okay, let's take this slowly again. Trump's latest campaign ad, Jesus Christ Superstar, the song that is played here is, you comparing yourself to Jesus. Judas said this. They started to believe the things they said of you. They started to believe this talk of God was true. That's the song. That's the way it goes. And I wrote back and I said, I know it isn't lost on everyone, thankfully, hiding there right beneath the surface. Judas, a story about to unfold. Test. Test freaking complete. Thank you, Francis Alexander, for the super chat. That's pretty awesome. I really appreciate it. By the way, you can super chat. I think you could do it you do it on the fly. You could do it there. I appreciate it. I appreciate those that go into the comments and leave a comment. I appreciate those that like, share, subscribe. Anything you do to support the channel, I'm grateful for it. Go into the description of the video. Guess what you get? Get all the links. Sign up for PayPal. You don't sign up for PayPal. Just send me like $5 on PayPal, Patreon, any of this. If you want to support the channel, You want to say, hey, good job, go have a cup of coffee on me, you know? Go buy yourself lunch while you're working 50 hours a week at the mattress store. You want to do that? You can even just send me a letter. Send me a nice handwritten letter. Jacob, you know, yeah, I've been around for a while, blah, blah, blah. Do that. All my information in the description of the video. Get yourself some truly free home products. Use code Jacob, you get 30% off. You know the deal. You know the deal. Listen, test complete on this. Test complete on this. Look at the timing. What was the timing? Okay, you don't believe me? It's 11/11. 1 year, 11 months, 1 day. 11/11. Judas, freaking the Pope, the American freaking Pope. I'm not coming to the 250th. Oh, I'm so much better than somebody who's actually trying to fix the world. That God appointed. That was shot. That in his writing 7 days before my hearing goes. All along, I've been saying the same thing. Here we are. Judas story playing out. That's a freaking coinky-dinky-do. That's a test complete. At a 111. Tell me. Leave a comment. And I'm not done yet. We got more. We got more to go into. You don't think, do you think it's weird? Hang on a second. Do you think it's weird? I create a random St. Catherine's video with riding a horse, and then Elon, 5 weeks later, almost identical AI video. There's something going on. You don't feel the power of God working. I do. I do. It's too bad I can't sell you all mattresses. I'd make a killing. I try to stay incognito. I'm like Clark Kent in the real world. You know? Do me a favor. Will you subscribe to the channel? Look, I told you all. You all wanted, listen, they called him Orange Jesus. They wanted a conquering Messiah. I said, God bless President Trump. Keep him in God's will. Not everyone sees it. All of a sudden, everybody's against prophecy. Oh, well, you get what you get. You don't get upset. All right, so I'm going to lead you into this. Okay, now this is where the show takes a really weird turn. We got a lot of people here. We got a lot of people watching. Do me a favor. Will you right now? Can you do me a favor? Can you just X out a chat and just hit like? You know, it would mean a lot. I'd appreciate it. A lot of people are saying scripted. Everybody's like saying God. Yeah, God, revelation. God is in control. For sure. This is why I don't want you to all be stressed out. Look, the fact that this whole thing is connected to a book called The Last Call, which is a lot like the book called The Calling, okay? Which is my novel, by the way. You can get it at Amazon.com. It's on sale right now. And leave a review if you've read it. A lot of people have read it. They love it. Leave a review. It's so important to give me a review. It's like, really, it'll be like one of the best books you read. And I'm telling you, look, the Last Call, The Calling, the character in this book, The Call, The Last Call, his name's Joseph. And Joseph, he gets a lot of coinky-dinky doos. Come on. It's like two in your face. I have a video to share with you all. It's like something I've been holding off on since I started YouTube. It's going to be great. Like from the day I was born to where we're going, June 11th, 2026, FIFA World Cup. Oh, what a show. It's going to change things. It's going to change things. All right, so this is I was doing yard work, and if you saw, did you see my last video where I talked about the WWE, right? God placed me in the WWE. I'm a nobody, a poor nobody who came from nothing and was poor. 19-year-old mother, abused, sick, no hands up, nothing. God hid me, right? Like a nobody, puts me head writer World Wrestling. I just did my last show video. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Go to my video section and watch it. It's called Cursed, because you'll see. Watch the video. Puts me there, then puts me at the head of now one of the largest Christian networks in the world, Daystar Television Network. I'm the head writer. How does this happen? Right? So strange. All of it's so strange to me. I don't feel like I'm small. I am small. But you know what the story of Zerubbabel is about? That you shouldn't curse the day of small things. Because God does big, extraordinary things with you, with me, We don't need to be. So many of you are so wonderful. You encourage me. Send me emails. Send me little DMs. Bless the days of small things. Don't curse them. So this is based on the story of Zerubbabel. Let me read this to you right here. The Sefer of Zerubbabel is a 7th century text. It says, by the way, this is like a text that was written later. It's not included in the canon, but it's connected to Zechariah 5, which is what you're going to hear in a second, because I took parts of Zechariah 5 and I put it to music. I created it in music, and then because I don't know why, I was just kind of bored. I decided to make myself look like the Zerubbabel character just for the heck of it. And well, you'll see. But what happens is he appears broken. There are these two messiahs. There's the one that was killed, and then there's another one, like the two witnesses. This is like another story, an extra canonical book from the Davidic line that suffers in Rome. He is very poor, and he appears broken, and he's despised, and he resurrects the first slain Messiah, son of Joseph, defeats the Antichrist, a character named Armilus, and brings the final redemption and resurrection. It talks about the end days. So this is from Zechariah 5, and I just put this together, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, take a listen.
He asked me, what do you see? I answered, I see a flying scroll, 20 cubits long and 10 cubits wide. And he said to me, this is the curse that is going out over the whole land. For according to what it says on one side, every thief will be banished. And according to what it says on the other, everyone who swears falsely will be banished. The Lord Almighty declares, I will send it out, and it will enter the house of a thief and the house of anyone who swears falsely by my name. It will remain in that house and destroy it completely, both its timbers and its stones. I looked up again, and there before me were 4 chariots coming out from between 2 mountains, mountains of bronze. The first chariot had red horses, the second black, the third white, and the fourth dappled, all of them powerful. I asked the angel who was speaking to me, what are these, my Lord? The angel answered me, these are the 4 spirits of heaven going out from standing in the presence of the Lord of the whole world. The one with the black horses is going toward the north country. The one with the white horses toward the west. And the one with the dappled horses toward the south.
That's wild to me. Meteors. Meteors. End time prophecy. That's April 13th, right? I shared this video. And all of this stuff, it happens. It's like very strange to me. Very strange to me. So I asked Grok, I said, can you add to this story? And Grok says something pretty interesting, because we are in a position where it kind of sounds like the day we're in. Imagine these ancient visions popped. Sefer Zerubbabel's early 7th century emerged amid the Byzantine wars. Persian Cyrus allied with the Jews. Cyrus allied with the Jews to seize Jerusalem, moved the United States to Jerusalem. Do you remember that? Briefly restoring Jewish hopes after the oppression that it faced. The text names the Persian king as the one slaying Messiah ben Joseph, fueling apocalyptic fervor for redemption. The overlapping Muhammad early revelations and Islam's rapid rise frames this end-time battle, if you will. It ties in perfectly with Zechariah's imagery and justice and judgment of restoration. More layers, if you will. Now, here's the deal, which is crazy, is that that's sort of happening right now. We see an expanse of Islam, much like back then. Like a conquering expanse of Islam, which the Pope seems to be siding with. And once again, listen, I love people from Islam. I love people from the Jews. I love people from the Christians and the Hindus and the Taoists and I love you all. I don't have a religion, okay? So I have a relationship with God. I hope that that's what you focus on too. But you can't deny the fact that right now in the world, Islam's becoming strong and it's moving in. I said a while ago, I said Islam's day is here. And it's here. Look at Mandami in New York. Look at what he's doing. Making some big change, drastic change. Look at all of Europe. Look at all of how they've come in and they've taken over. And look at all the fear baiting and everything else. But you know what today's post was about? It wasn't about Pope Leo condemning all the Christians that are being killed, which is strange. It was more about how, hey, we can all be friends. And he's right. We can, because ultimately all of religion needs to go away. And guess what's going to happen? In the Bible, they call it the one world religion. You're moving into it. You're not going to be able to condemn Islam. You're not going to be able to condemn the Jews. You're not going to be able to condemn the Christians. It's going to come all together and everybody's going to be able. That's what Cyrus did. And I'll stay on the outside. I'll be a watchman sitting on the wall while St. Teresa, Catherine is riding her red horse and everything else. Hey, you want to see that video? Let me show you that St. Catherine video just so you get an idea. She, remarkable young lady who, here it is. So I posted this a long time ago and reposted it on March 29th for National Read a Book Day. Okay, let's take a listen to this. Now this is, I took a video and I used a young lady and I took some of the things that she was saying in her video and I spliced it in and like reimagined it and added music and everything. Enjoy.
I hate what I see.
Wait a minute, that's not the video. That's my book. That's a great book. Oh, here we go. I said, what was the ring of St. Catherine of Siena? My grandfather's funeral. I learned that when I was laid to rest. I was given this ring. Now here is my this was what I was meant to read, by the way. Okay, so on my grandfather, this was the 28th. You can see the day right there. Now I didn't put any of this together at the time. You know, I loved my grandfather, so I was just really sad. And this was the reading that I was given. A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. On this mountain, the Lord of hosts will provide for all peoples. All peoples. On this mountain, he will destroy the veil that veils all peoples. The web that is woven over all nations. He will destroy death forever. The Lord God will wipe away the tears from all faces. Not just some, all. The reproach of his people he will remove from the whole earth, not part of it. For the Lord God has spoken. On that day it will be said, behold our God to whom we looked to save us. This is the Lord for whom we have looked. Let us rejoice and let us be glad in it. My goodness, this is the word of the Lord. You know, in the Catholic Church they say that. That's my grandfather. That's Poppy. What a handsome guy. There's his ring right there. That's the one that's on my hand right now. An onyx gold ring. My Poppy, who I love so much. Who I'm named after, believe it or not. Whole thing to me is strange. And then I find out long time later that it It was very significant. So this is an audio clip of Lisa from Catholic Family Podcast. You should check them out on YouTube. I just took her voice because, I kind of liked her voice. Take a listen.
Likely story of a poor illiterate girl of the working class who grew up to inspire and guide the leaders of the 14th century is the stuff of legends.
We must find a peaceful resolution.
But at what cost, my lady? Peace is a luxury we cannot afford.
But the thing I always remember about St. Catherine of Siena is the ring. St. Catherine, along with being one of the few saints in history to be distinguished by the stigmata, is also a saint most highly favored in her unique mystical espousal to our Lord. A particular gift to her, as she never became a nun, but like sisters who profess perpetual vows, when our Lord accepted her as his spiritual bride, he gave her a beautiful ring. Blessed Raymond of Capua, her confessor, documented that on the day of the espousal, St. Catherine was alone in her room at the home of her parents, opting out of the pre-Lenten celebration, and seeking through prayer and fasting, quote, the face of her eternal bridegroom. Our Lord appeared and said, and I quote again, "Since for love of me you have forsaken vanities and despised the pleasures of the flesh, and fastened all of the delights of your heart upon me, now when the rest of the household are feasting and enjoying themselves, I have determined to celebrate the wedding feast of your soul, and to espouse you to me in faith as I promised." Her confessor goes on to describe what Catherine later revealed to him, quote, "When he had finished speaking, his most glorious Virgin Mother appeared with the most blessed St. John the Evangelist, the glorious Apostle Paul, St. Dominic, the founder of the order, and the prophet David with his harp. While David played sweet strains on the harp, the Mother of God took Catherine's hand in her own most holy hand, and presenting her to her son, courteously asked him to marry her to himself in faith. The Son of God, graciously agreeing, held out a gold ring with 4 pearls set in a circle and a wonderful diamond in the middle, and with his most holy right hand he slipped it onto the Virgin's second finger, saying, 'There, I marry you to me in faith, to me, your Creator and Savior.'"
Hope you have hit that like button by now. AI is wild, man. How crazy is that? What a story. A poor, illiterate child becomes... My goodness gracious. Now, here's where the whole thing gets weird, okay? Let me just pause this for a second. Let me come back to you. So, I share that video. I do a whole thing. I explain Avignon, and I talk about France, and I talk about St. Catherine and how the Pope was siding with France. St. Catherine was like, "Come home! You need to come back to Rome!" She was a little out there. She was like a nobody. And yet, she had the ear of kings, and she had the ear of... She brought the papacy back to Rome, because at the time there was a war going on at the house, just like there's a war going on in our house that right now has a ceasefire. We have a country at war. We have the American Pope, and the American Pope is making it out like our leader, who the fake news media and everybody else has crowned as the Antichrist. The Lincoln Project came out with something about that. I've been saying from day one, I've told you who the Antichrist is. The only enemy you have is in your head. God is working. I'm not explaining or expressing or explaining away anything that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't say a whole civilization is going to be over in a night. Cyrus doesn't care what I would say. Do you get what's happening? Is anybody listening? How many times have I shared things? We're here. So I got to tell you, the Pope, I think he needs the Pope. I think the Pope needs to take a look at the bigger picture. We don't know what to believe today. And I prayed a lot about this, and I said, Lord, I don't want to come on here and make it out like, oh, look at Jacob condemning the Pope, and the Pope saying no war. They kill people in the streets. When was the last time you saw somebody hung in New York City? This is the evil that President Trump and the Trump administration is coming against. This is the evil. And you got all the neighbors and everybody around them in agreement. You got a peace board that's signed. Everybody wants the same thing. And they're like, these people are having a problem and we're going to stop it. Because they're poking the thumb in what God is trying to do. God's trying to bring the whole world together. Cyrus doesn't care if you are a Muslim or a Jew or a Hindu or an atheist or a gay or whatever. Cyrus doesn't care. He wants you to obey the law, to do the right thing, and he wants you to have a good life, and he wants you to make this world better. That's what he did. He also wants to make a lot of money while he's doing it, and I'm sure he will. Listen, I come on here. I'm a nobody. Neither was St. Catherine of Siena. Day before her feast day, she was given a golden ring. Same with me. I was baptized at St. Mary's, ironically, which is strange to me because St. Catherine's was such a big part of my growing up. That church, beautiful church. There's something else happening, people, and I'm going to tell you, I don't think that all this stuff right here, I don't think this is a freaking coincidence. They don't talk about the Avignon papacy. Give me a break. Listen to this right here. The Avignon papacy that I brought up. How many minutes is this? I just noticed 55 seconds. All right, let's change the audio speed on this. And just take a listen to this. This is what he had to say about them talking about the whole thing that St. Catherine of Siena brought to an end. Yeah, weird.
X has been abuzz the last couple of days with a Free Press story saying that senior Pentagon officials in January, including Rich Colby, brought Cardinal Pierre into the Pentagon.
Brought who?
Cardinal Christophe Pierre into the Pentagon.
I haven't seen the story, unfortunately.
And essentially the reporting by the Free Press is that they told him that the American military has a lot of might and they can do whatever they want and the church should get on its side. Does that message sound correct to you? Is that something you would sign off on?
So one, I with no disrespect to the Cardinal, I don't know who Cardinal Christophe Pierre is.
He's the ambassador to the Holy See in the U.S.
Oh, okay. I've met him before. Sorry, I just didn't remember the name. I've never seen this reporting. I'd like to actually talk to Cardinal Christophe Pierre and, frankly, to our people to figure out what actually happened. I think it's always a bad idea to offer an...
Remember J.D. Vance? Do you remember he came in? He was so excited to meet the Pope. Now, what are the chances? 5 weeks ago, I share saying 5 weeks before the Avignon papacy news hits the news and the Avignon papacy is shared. Because I was given a ring at St. Catherine's Church and I was inspired to look into the story. And then Elon Musk shares the very same video. My goodness. Now, you want to know, I have a video that I posted on YouTube about the story of Esther. If you're in the Q circles, I know a lot of you are. Esther's like a big deal with the Q crowd. I don't know much about it. I'm not into all that stuff, but I do find it coincidental that it seems like President Trump is too. Sounds to me like there's more to the story. But my point of bringing this up is I did this show in 2021, okay? About the story of Esther, okay? And do not be afraid, daughter Zion. See, your king is coming. And I pointed to a date. Now, at the time, President Trump was nowhere to be found. Okay, now this is a whole video that you can watch on X. But the story of Purim, by the way, is something I said was coming. Look at the date and the time that I reposted it, 11:11 a.m. Because this is what's happening right now. Story of Esther was on my lips in 2021. The Purim prophecy is here. Iran is Haman wanting to wipe out the Jews. Trump is like King Ahasuerus. And this is why Esther is such a big deal with the Q community. You can follow me on X, by the way, if you want. You'll be able to, I don't know, kind of see things as they come to me. I mean, I could be wrong about all this stuff. I had a lot of hope for Pope Leo. But I really do feel, I feel like I was impressed. I felt like God impressed me to be like, yo, Pope, I'm going to write you a story like St. Catherine did. Don't make me walk to France, Pope. It's just strange. What are the odds? What are the odds I put out a video about how everybody's going to call him Jesus Christ and then betray him, a Judas post, and I put it as a test. Test freaking complete. Judas, the American Pope. I'm not coming to 250. Let's see that change. I think we need the world to come together. And let me tell you how you want to handle these things, because I don't know if I'm true. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm putting my support behind the right horse, if you will. Just seems like I look at everything and I'm like, this makes sense to me. He's siding with France. He's meeting with Macron while people are being killed in Nigeria for believing in Christ. Whole church is a mess. Going to talk about how poor. Oh, so we have to take care of the poor. We got to take care of this. Meanwhile, I don't see you all forking out any of your cash, but I do know that this big hoopla is coming at a time when the Vatican's about to be audited. I had a dream about the Pope. Follow me on X at JacobIsrael71. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, because I have a feeling that this dream come true is going to happen unless the Pope gets things right. I'm praying for President Trump. And I think we're going to see some big change. But I think you should be praying for the direction we're going to. And let me know in the comment section if you think I'm wrong. I don't, listen, I could be. Could be. I sell mattresses now. I'm going to go outside right now. I'm going to clean my patio. I'm going to say hi to Ethan, get him working in the yard. I'm going to wait for the Dan to come home. Listen, I love all of you. And I hope that you all have a great day. And I hope that you enjoyed the show. And I hope that it, these things, they blow me away. They get me freaked out. They don't get me freaked out. They get me thinking, I'm like, Lord, again and again and again and again. And I still doubt. Just like that book, The Last Call. The Last Call. The Calling. It's weird, man. Put out my video with the meteors and Zerubbabel. Boom. And then this is it's just strange. It's just strange. So what do you think it means? I want to know. All right, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for supporting, liking, sharing, PayPal, everything. I appreciate it. I thank you. I love you. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. I got to get to work now outside.